Dear participants, now we are proceeding ahead towards the first session of this 16 days training program in the field of digital image processing. And today we have first resource person, Dr. Balasubramani K. I would like to just introduce him and then immediately we will start the session. First of all, I would like to welcome Dr. Balasubramani K. And I'm very happy to communicate to you all that he is always supportive and always providing his knowledge to the sake of society. Last year, we had also organized one national level activity, that is National Workshop on Research Methodologies in Geography. And in that workshop also he was delivered his lecture related to remote sensing and GIS applications in geography, and it was most appreciated by all the participants, and this feedback only can uh, talk about his credentials in the field of geography and in the field of remote sensing. He is working as an associate professor in the School of Earth Sciences, Central University, Tamil Nadu, since more than 15 years of experience in the field of teaching, research, and training in the field of remote sensing and GIS. He is focused in the area of remote sensing GIS, as Dr. Kumar Sami told. Initially, he was working in Bharatidasan University, Trichy, Tamil Nadu. Later on, he moved towards Central University, Tamil Nadu. At present, he has published various books, he has authored various research articles, and that have been published in the reputed journals, care listed journals of UGC. His credentials and his contribution in the field of remote sensing and GIS is really inspiring to all the participants. Till today, he has completed various research projects and consultancy projects, and it includes the projects funded by DST SERV, funded by UGC, and other GOs and NGOs. And approximately more than 9 research projects have been completed by Dr. Bala Subramani. And with this brief introduction, I would like to invite Dr. Bala Subramani to deliver his address. Sir, I request you kindly proceed ahead. And once again, on behalf of organizing institution and on behalf of all the collaborating institutions, I welcome you and I request you kindly enlighten our participants. Thank you, sir. Please, please. Over to Bala, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much for your nice words and encouraging comments, and of course, moreover, the belief you have for the past 10 years. And I thank all the organizers and all the colleges, as well as I am gratitude, pay my gratitude to my mentor, Professor Kumaraswamy, for enlightening the participants about the importance of remote sensing in general and digital processing in particular. Uh, Without much delay, I thought of share my screen and start the session. I'm very sorry because just 15 minutes back our power got shut off, and I'm connected with my mobile phone, and of course I can like able to complete the session without trouble. But if there are issues, please like, forgive me. And in order to save the bandwidth, I just like hide my video. I hope my screen is visible now. Yes. Okay. So thank you very much, sir, for the invitation. The moment he shared the schedules of digital image processing workshop, uh, I, I felt multiple options. Okay, I can talk this or that, and of course, before taking a decision, I got a call from like Patil sir, and he just urged me to like pick a topic, and of course, with dilemma, I chosen the first topic in order to kick start the workshop with some like basic principles on digital image processing. Although he given some like guidelines and units to discuss about, but still I make it a comprehensive and general, and like just open the topic to the participant, and of course the learned speakers later on will explain you the different aspects of digital image processing. Here, one thing I want to emphasize that digital image processing, it's a wider like discipline, I could say, and it is not ended with geographers or remote sensing. Okay, actually, digital image processing is uh, uh, play a vital role in many disciplines, including medical. You know that, and of course, this mm, presentation or this workshop or this deliberations all pertaining to DIP or digital image processing, it is towards remote sensing. So understanding the basics of remote sensing and remote sensing images and how to handle the remote sensing images are of paramount importance in digital image processing. So digital image processing as a theory wise, we should learn properly, including the components of remote sensing. This is one. And second, of course, digital image processing has very like fundamental principles, but without practice, we can't excel in the field. So practice and experience are of significant component, and which requires a like a skill set also. It's not about just like learning a theory or fundamental principles, but also required a practice. Practice requires tool sets of like modern type or modern like techniques. So a person who want to work in the field of digital image processing should have a perseverance for both the theory as well as practice. I restrict my presentation with a textbook, a wonderful textbook, I could say, offered by Jensen, who is, we used to consider, geographers used to consider a father of like digital image processing in remote sensing perspective. Whereas if you talk about textbook of digital image processing, normally Gonal's book referred as a Bible for many application scientists on various aspects of digital image processing. But whereas for geographers or spatial scientists or earth scientists, if you ask, the Bible book is digital image processing written by Jensen. And very importantly, he is a geographer. So since the geographer like wrote a book on digital image processing on several issues, he published books on remote sensing also. So this book will give you a greater or depth understanding about digital image processing in the remote sensing perspective. So I thanking him. I have contacted him maybe like 9, 10 years before, and obtained permission to use his like some of the pictures presentations as well as the data set. He like hosted in the website for like teaching the people, teaching the like the students. And immediately he responded by mail, and he shared all his PPTs, textbook informations, as well as valuable data sets. So that made me to like deep dive into the subject matter of digital image processing, and The presentation you appreciate, it is nothing but the appreciation to Mr. or Dr. Professor Genshin. Okay, so come to the um, uh, topic. When you talk about digital image processing, of course, we are talking digital image processing for remote sensing, so we should understand about why we need remote sensing. And of course, remote sensing, everyone knows about it is a tool for scientific data collection. Just like other scientific tools, it is a tool to collect data. And of course, it is very comfortable and convenient if you want to collect data from wider geographical region. Whereas in situ data collection is have some inherent issues. One of the major issues is a sampling design. In situ instrument, you have to go to the field and collect information, say for example, soil temperature, and the success of mapping of your soil temperature of particular area, it's depend on the sample design. So every like 1 meter, if you are measuring the temperature of the soil, you will get accurate data, but you know that how tedious it is, and it is very consuming, time consuming as well as cost consuming process. So it is very difficult. At the same time, if you go for a very coarse resolution, say for example 1 or 2 like readings for soil temperature in a village, it is so biased. So in situ, it is accurate, no doubt about it, but the data collection have severe problem with sampling design. And second, in situ instruments are plenty, and handling procedures are varying from instrument to instrument and conditions to conditions. And if you are improperly orient or improperly operate, then the results will be in biased mode. So operational conditions or operational issues with in situ instruments also affect the quality of data collection. And third, importantly, these in situ instruments need to be calibrated, and if you calibrated the poorly, then it will affect the result. Of course, the same problems you can apply to remote sensing also, no doubt about it. Remote sensing also have a sampling design that we will discuss in terms of resolution, and it also have issues with the improper orientation or orientation. It also have issues with the calibration. But there are agencies which working on these issues, and they are certify all these processes. And of course, the data collection is for wider region. So for a wider region, single like a satellite, if you are operating and settling these issues or taking care of this issue is easy compared to handling multiple in situ instrument for understanding the scientific problem. And when you talk about remote sensing process or digital image processing, you should understand for what normally we used to adapt the digital image processing or remote sensing. This slide clearly explains to you about the role of digital image processing in the context of the overall research problem. Any research we do, first we should think it of, or we should define the statement of the problem. Okay. So what is the problem? For what problem we are going to use remote sensing image or digital image processing? So deciding or determining the statement of problem, or hypothesizing our problem is the key step. So once you assumed this problem, it's due to these are all the issues, and of course you have to prove it, prove your assumption. To prove your assumption, you need a data, and data to be collected scientifically. And two options you have here. One is using in situ measurements, I told you, or you can go ahead with other data sources. Instead of direct in situ instruments, indirect like form of data sources you can, for which you can either use collateral data sets, which means you can take a data from other agencies, those already published about your problem, or you can look at the problem with the help of remote sensing. And of course, you know that remote sensing have many types of like a sensor, many types of platforms, many type of techniques, and now it is with drone technology, as pointed out by keynote address for Professor Kumaraswamy. So we like have many like avenues to collect data remotely. Then once you collected your data, then you have to convert into information. The data to information conversion is the key process in any like a research, scientific research, which requires, especially when you are handling like remote sensing data, which requires a proper processing of remote sensing images, and there are of two types broadly. One is the age-old as well as very powerful visual image processing, or we call it as analog image processing. Another one is the digital image processing. And this processed image will give you information which will extract information from the data, and those informations you can present in order to satisfy or in order to prove or disprove your initial assumptions. So this is how the like a research system or remote sensing system it's working. And among us now we are going to discuss broadly these red color boxes. And I am coming to the general. When you talk about digital image processing, and first you should understand very properly about from where we are getting like data, what like platforms we used, what sensors we used, what kind of data it obtained, and how it is stored, and how it is available to you. Okay, this is very preliminary and very fundamental to understanding the data collection and availability of like data. And second, you have to commit to the digital like processing. Before do any like digital image processing, first you have to do pre-processing. Pre-processing is very important because data whatever we obtained from like sensors or satellites, and those are all of raw format, and it should be rectified on the ground, for which you have to like correct the data broadly in two terms. One is called radiometric correction, another one is called geometric correction. Radiometric correction is correcting the like array of data sets. So normally the data will be stored, later I will show you, will rows and columns, and there are chances of like missing of data. So those missing of data to be identified and to be like corrected out. And of course, the sensor is placed well above the Earth surface, maybe say for example 700 kilometers from the Earth surface, and data is about the surface. So between sensor and the Earth surface, you have atmosphere, and atmosphere will influence greatly the data acquisition process. So you have to like remove the influence of atmosphere. So we call it as atmospheric correction, which is also part of radiometric correction. So you have to do the correction of atmospheric influences in the image before using it. That broadly we call it as radiometric correction. And second one is geometric correction. Since the Earth is like rotating and revolving around Sun, and we have day and night, we have seasons, and our uh, satellites also rotating, especially remote sensing satellites are rotating the Earth. So every object in motion, getting an image while your platform in motion and your target is in motion, and of course no doubt about it, lot of error will introduce. So in order to remove those errors or correct those errors, we have to correct the images in terms of geometry, for which there are like many techniques. Among us widely using and powerful technique is georeferencing. So using georeferencing, you can able to rectify the geometrical issues in the image, and that is very fundamental before taking up any image process. So this two broad process of radiometric correction and geometric correction, we together call it as pre-processing. Once your data are pre-processed, then you can go for information extraction. But before information extraction, you have to enhance your image in order to facilitate or in order to enhance the extraction process. So because you may be like extracted a specified information, the specified information may be hidden in your image. So you want to extract that hidden information from the images, you have to enhance the image first, for which a lot of techniques are there, and amongst contrast stretching, spatial like interpolation, and convolution filtering, and uh, multi concept using or fusing like a remote sensing band one with the other, or applying image indices, and we have a lot many technique to enhance the image information and using which we can extract it. So once we enhanced our image, and we can go for information extraction. Information using like a two-dimensional view we can extract, or three-dimensional view we can extract. If you want to extract three-dimensional like information, and we have to use photogrammetric technique as well. Photogrammetric technique will give information about x, y as well as z. No, I want to extract only the spatial information like x and y, then you can go ahead with normal information extraction process with the help of computer systems. And there are lot many algorithms, tools, techniques, approaches available for information extraction, and which can be generally called image classification. There are two broad type of classification. One is supervised classification, another one is unsupervised classification, and both are what we call it as like idea or like handling approach. Supervise means each and every step you have to supervise and you have to dictate to the system how to do it. Whereas unsupervised means allow the system first with a few initial parameters, and system will try to extract some information from your image, and later you can validate and you can tag it. This is how unsupervised approach is working. Of course, both the supervised information extraction and supervised information extraction adapted some parametric tools or parametric like approaches and non-parametric approaches. And within this parametric and non-parametric approaches, and you have a different methods. Say for example, some of the information you can extract with the help of like a pixel information. We call it as a pixel-based approach. Some of the information you can extract well with object-based approach, which means not individual pixels, rather group of pixels you consider as an object, and you can target the object and extract it. That we call it as object-based approach. This pixel-based, object-based approach further can be employed or handled with the help of like a parametric and non-parametric systems, including expert system, machine learning, and like a deep learning and so on. So now this digital image processing in an extent where you can extract even a minor very dynamic information using sophisticated very deep learning network algorithms. So this information extraction have multiple dimensions, and understanding those dimensions based on your objective of a problem, and you have to decide it. Then once you extracted information, and of course we have to assess its accuracy, whether whatever information you extracted it is accurate or not. This is very important step and key step, and many times we forget this one. We sometimes happy with information that extracted from like a satellite images, but we not like concentrate much on assessing its accuracy. So accuracy assessment requires again some instrumentation, some field like a visit or like collateral data. Using field visit or in situ measurements or collateral data, you can assess the accuracy. Once your accuracy is satisfactory, say for example more than 75% of informations are accurate, and you can go ahead for extracting statistics from your information, and you can like present it. Sometimes statistics not enough means you can present it as a maps with the help of GIS. This digital image processing normally provide data for mapping, information for mapping, and mapping can be dealt either with remote sensing like or digital image processing software or dedicated GIS softwares. So with this, I just like stop it about the discussion on the framework of digital image processing and context of digital image processing in overall scientific like research. Now I come to like data collection, some fundamentals of data collection. Of course, we are using remote sensing like sensors to collect data. I am not going in detail what is remote sensing, but one thing is very important. This data collection determines the accuracy of like information extraction from digital image processing. If your data is very superior and very accurate from collection stage itself, say for example, you are collecting with the help of drone, and your like information extraction will be like very accurate, or your information will be satisfactorily like fulfill your objectives. Whereas if you are collecting your data from very distant platforms like orbital or satellites platform, then you have trade-offs. Okay, you can able to cover larger area, but you have to miss your information extraction like accuracy. To a certain extent, it can support your like accuracy or information extraction process, and another extent it will like trouble the digital image processing. Of course, if all the data are like collected from the ground, near the ground, then no need of much digital image processing. Rather directly you can present the information. But most of the like data sets we could able to collect from orbital platform, because it is very systematic and have a good temporal resolution, so that you will have a multiple amount of multitude amount of data sets. So we prefer always orbital platform, and orbital platform requires like proper application of digital image processing. So your remote sensing measurement dictates or decide the importance of digital image processing. And this is how I am trying to say here. And of course, when you take a remote sensing system, it collects data with the different like approaches or different systems. And I am not going in detail, but some of important things are that it can like detect like a pixel by pixel, and it can like detect the whole area with like a photogrammetric or photograph films. This is just like our normal like cameras, or like photographic cameras or even smartphones, where the entire area will be collected with a single sensor, like only one sensor. But whereas remote sensing sensors normally used array, uh, each like array designed for like a different a spectral region, later we will discuss, and each array will consist of like hundreds of sensors, and each like sensor look at area and obtain or like acquire the information, which means whatever you are getting in remote sensing image are pixels. That pixel is dedicatedly captured by like a sensor system. So each sensor systems determines the amount in each pixel. Okay. So whatever you are getting in a pixel, the information or the like a number, it is like nothing but okay. So designing sensor depend upon our problem or depend upon our purpose. It's very important, and that decided the quality of information extraction process. Now come to like the need of digital image processing. As I told you earlier, if information is like available like this, or image is available like this with us, and even a layman can able to extract the information. Okay, he can able to identify what are the objects. But most of the time, our information is available like this, or sometimes like this, even sometimes like this. If it is this, you don't need much like image processing. Directly, you can extract information using visual like a processing. Only for certain like attribute extraction, say for example shape, size, area, and etc. Then you can employ softwares, but not much like research required. But whereas most of the information since available like this or between like this and this or between this and this, and we have to like understand properly the remote sensing system and digital like image processing system, then only you can able to extract meaningful information. So which require an understanding of remote sensing process thoroughly. And of course, remote sensing data, if you talk about, not necessary to use digital image processing always. We can use visual image processing also. But compared to like visual image processing, digital image processing will give you more accurate information. But if you ask me personally, which one is superior, whether visual image processing or digital image processing, I could say both are two eyes. Both are two eyes of a human being. So if you ask which eye you like, then you normally we don't have answer. Okay, because both are important. Both look at differently, and fusion of both information, both you extract from visual image processing and digital image processing, helps you to obtain more information. So one eye, limited information, two eyes, more information. That's how the image processing works. So although this workshop is targeted for digital image processing, but you should understand visual image processing also equally important. Come to the business here, the digital image processing. In order to do or perform digital image processing, first you have to convert your image into digital medium, because digital image processing can be handled or can be attempted only with the help of like um, uh, information conversion from analog format to digital format. So how can I convert from analog to digital format? There are digitizers from this is normal flat scanner to this sophisticated drum sizer. Okay. So we have range of options to obtain digital information. But of course, this is for images that is available already with analog format, which means film format or like a traditional or old photographic like format or map format. But whereas now, no need of this, because most of the remote sensing system, most even all of the remote sensing system nowadays provide you data in digital format. Normally, the data acquired from a remote sensing platform can be stored as a pixel, and the pixel is arranged as an array, that arranged like a framework of a particular set of pixel, we call it as a band. So normally the energy is available with the different electromagnetic radiation, and we have to slice uh, the area of like electromagnetic radiation, and we have to acquire the information, and information to be like recorded as a DN number or digital number as like image format. And this can be like stored in the format of BIP band interleaved by pixels, BIL band interleaved by line, or band sequential format. For understanding, I just given an example here. There are three sensors. One sensor is look at green energy or green wavelength. Another sensors look at red wavelength, and third sensors look at near infrared wavelength. This green, red, near infrared simultaneously captured by the remote sensing like a sensor. Once the sensor captured information, that information will be stored as a DN number. Okay. So this number we call it as a DN number. As I told you, each number represents like one area, one geographical area, which is determined by like field of view, instantaneous field of view. So the area is mm, captured by the sensor systems, recorded separately as a green energy, red energy, and near infrared energy. So these energy informations you can represent over a geographical area. This is geographical area actually. You have first pixel, second pixel, third pixel of first row, and pixels in second row and third row. It's like we have a geographical area. So when you compare these two, and you have to like arrange your data set. How we are arranging? In the first method, band interleaved by pixel. Each pixel presented first for first row. And this is for first band, and this is for second band, and this is for third band. Like continuously, the second row will be presented and third row will be presented. Okay. So the information will be presented one by one, and it is called like a band interleaved by pixel. Pixel by pixel we are presenting. And second one is line by line, which means like we have first band. Okay. This is 40, 40, 42, and second band of first line, third band of first line. So all lines of three bands first record it, and all like lines, second lines of all the three bands will be recorded, and like a third line. Like here, each band is interleaved by line. So here, one by one, we pick 40, 44, 10. Okay. Whereas here, all first line of first band like recorded, then second band, then third band, like it goes. And in BSQ format, band sequential format, the entire first like a band will be presented as a single band, an entire second band will be presented as like a single band, and the entire third band will be presented as single band. Uh, Although the band interleaved by pixel and band interleaved by like a line are powerful like method of storing data, but the present day most of the like image processing system or most of the like a data delivery system using the method of band sequential format, because you not necessary to handle all the three bands simultaneously. Say for example, I am interested only with near infrared. You no need to worry about band 1 and band 2. Only you open your near infrared band and you can process it. So the band sequential format is practically convenient for the operator or for the user compared to BIP and DIL. But when you talk about transferring information from sensor to ground station, and these two formats are widely used, especially BIP format is widely used, because you can because you are sending your sensor is capturing like information like area by area. Okay, the same sensor like scan it like a pixel by pixel. So immediately those informations will be stored pixel by pixel and will be transferred to the ground station. Once you received your data, then you have to process it. that is called a digital image processing. And for digital image processing, you need a typical computer system. And of course, earlier we have very big computing systems occupy larger area with poorer like performance. But whereas now the high performance systems are available with smaller chips, so that are smaller microprocessor that help us to perform digital image processing very powerfully. So I'm not going in detail about the computing systems, and everyone aware about it. Now we have a very sophisticated computing systems. In addition to hardware computing system, we need also software systems. There are plenty of softwares available for digital image processing, and among us, some of them are commercial products, and some of them are open source product. And of course, mm, we have a plenty of image processing systems, but widely using image processing systems are is Radar, Mapper, NV, GRASS, Itrici, and Cognition. And among us, this GRASS and Itrici are open source, and remaining are commercial licenses. And of course, now we have integrated systems like Mapper, or we have a Saha GIS, and even ArcGIS also have digital image processing components. So in addition to these major softwares, other major GIS softwares also you can use it for image processing. And why we need to do image processing with the help of these computing systems? Because information is not presented to us directly. So we have to translate image into information, which can be already I told you obtained with visual image processing or digital image processing. And although we are employing digital image processing, but our visual systems and experience is very important to distinguish phenomena. Okay. So what I'm trying to say, when you talk about digital image processing and the success and failure of digital image processing is depend on our visual system and experience. Okay. So this is very fundamental phenomena before the digital image processing process. And when we talk about digital image processing, we have constraints or considerations of resolution. This is well explained by our keynote speaker about four important resolutions in remote sensing images called spatial, spectral, temporal, radiometric, and each play a role play in digital image processing processes. Say for example, if you have a very high or detailed image, which means finer spatial resolution, you can able to understand the information very greatly. So higher the spatial resolution, higher the information extraction using digital image processing. Likewise, higher the spectral resolution, higher the information extraction. Higher the temporal resolution, higher the information extraction. Higher the radiometric sensitivity, and higher the information generation. So all these resolutions are important, and if you want to have a super remote sensing system, and it should be high in terms of all these four resolution. But it is hypothetical. We don't have such extraordinary high resolution in all these terms because the data size. If you incorporate a very high spatial, spectral, temporal, radiometric resolution, uh, uh, within fraction of second, you need trillions of bytes to store it. Okay, and storage, it's a biggest issue, and not only storage, even you have to transfer the data from remote platform to the ground station. Transforming also takes time, and it is not possible. So we have to compromise any one of these depend upon our purpose. For what purpose we are sending satellites, accordingly we have to compromise. That we call it as a resolution trade-off. Okay. So we can't keep all the best, rather we can keep one or two the best in remote sensing system. If you are keeping the like spatial resolution the best, just like a drone, and you no need to like much worry about mm, the image like information like extraction using image processing software, because it is high spatial resolution, directly your eye can detect it. That's how I told. Like, so if you have a higher like a resolution, and you can able to. I'm audible to all.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you. So I got now power also. So I just turn on my camera as well. Sir Patel, sir, how long I can take? How many minutes left? Sir, oh, sorry. I will not. I will. Not, yeah, yeah. I will not go that long. Maybe I will take another 15 minutes to like complete my lecture. So, very important uh, component of digital image processing is understanding the spectral reflectance curve, especially if you are mm, mm, having poor spectral resolution, okay, or moderate spectral resolution, you can say. Uh, why means, say for example, if you are taking in situ instruments, wider like spectral region. Okay. Even normal instrument, if you take, say for example, spectrophotometer in lab based, it provide you data from like a 300 nanometer to like 1000 nanometer continuously, okay, with higher or we call it as very refined bandwidth, okay, nanometer bandwidth, even 10 nanometer bandwidth or like 2 nanometer bandwidth, like very high resolution data you can able to get it on the ground using in situ instrument. But if you are designing sensor for remote platform, then you can't design the same sensor, because some of the area it's hidden by the atmosphere, and some of the area you have influence of like atmosphere, and some of the area your energy is not available to the sensor. Okay? Your energy will not go up to that much of height. So we have to compromise the spectral resolution greatly, and we normally always go ahead with the moderate spectral resolution. Although we call it as multispectral resolution, etc., but still it is not uh, enough to identify easily the object, like as like pointed out by in situ instrument. And secondly, when you are obtaining information from a like a remote place, say for example with the help of with a distance of 700 kilometer, and you need energy that should be like captured. Okay, so you can't obtain all energy at micro level, which means with a good spatial resolution. Rather, you have to fix some uh, uh, ideal like a spatial resolution. So that's why majority of the mission, especially successful mission, keeping the spatial resolution as like a 30 meter or like a 10 meter or 5 meter. Okay. Even we are happy with 30-meter resolution or 10-meter resolution, even 5-meter resolution. Even sometimes we felt good with 5-meter resolution, because minimum that much of area is required to obtain some spectral signature, okay, especially in the infrared region. So in infrared and thermal regions, when you go for infrared and thermal region, coverage of larger area with a single pixel is paramount of importance. So we are having some practical difficulties with this resolution and determining this resolution, and other resolution can able to like understand easily, but the spectral resolution is like very like challenging. At the same time, without a spectral resolution, you can't complete your digital image processing or information extraction. So understanding spectral reflectance of different objects is very important before start of or before doing of any digital image processing. And without the knowledge of spectral reflectance curve, and you can't handle it. That's what I'm trying to say. Of course, this is applicable to other in situ instrument also. Say, for example, I am measuring some element using a spectroradiometer or using like a UV spectrophotometer or using what we call it as some other scanning system. Then I should understand how your like object like behave with different electromagnetic radiation. So the basic principles of electromagnetic radiation and its interaction with the object is very much important for digital image processing. I'm not going in detail, but here I want to emphasize that each object on the ground have a unique spectral signatures or spectral reflectance curve, and understanding those spectral reflectance curve is very important to use appropriate digital image processing technique. Say, for example, I want to detect two broad categories of vegetation. One is broadleaf vegetation I want to categorize, another one is I want to categorize the needle-leaf vegetation. If you look at the blue band, the green band, the red band, all broadleaf and needle-leaf have a similar spectral reflectance. Even this red edge, we call it as like the region between near infrared and red, that also have what we call it as similar information. But when you move to like a near infrared, in near infrared, especially like very near infrared, and you can able to easily distinguish the signature between broadleaf and needleaf. So if I want to like detect these two information from the image, and definitely I need this band information or this spectral information. If I want to categorize or distinguish ice and clouds, both are appears white in color with a higher reflectance. I want to distinguish it means, and I have to go ahead with middle infrared, okay, or like thermal infrared. Thermal infrared will help you to distinguish easily the clouds and like snow and ice. Likewise, for each object on the ground, we have some sensitive region that we have to identify, and accordingly we have to employ the digital image processing. And another important thing is that this object, ground object, not static always, rather it is always change from like a time to time and place to place. Even you like assume a area, spatial changes, no, it is permanently, you are looking at a particular vegetation, okay. That vegetation receives rainfall. Like one day it receives higher amount of rainfall, another day it receives lower amount of rainfall, another day almost no rainfall, another day it become very dry. Okay. And it try to extract moisture from like a soil. Sometimes soil also become dry, and accordingly, like this leaf structure of the vegetation will change. So when you want to do or study this kind of dynamic information, okay, especially temporal dynamics or phenology of the object, then you need again understanding of the like spectral signature, okay, because the spectral signatures will change depend upon the moisture content. Although this region maybe help you to give more information to understand the changing behavior of leaf, but this information is not available at the sensor, okay, because this region is opaque and not transparent, so the sensor could not able to obtain information for this region. Sensor can able to get information from this gray shaded regions, okay. So especially say for example Landsat data I'm using, I could not able to get this drastic change information. Only I will get this or this. Okay. So you have to decide it whether which is good, this or this or this. Okay. Compared to this near infrared band and this like middle infrared bands are good, and thermal infrared bands the leaf moisture content. Okay. So we have to decide what kind of information to be extracted, and we have to decide what like image we are going to use it, and we have to like understand properly the spectral characteristics of objects to be detected. Then only we can able to extract information powerfully from the digital image processing, which requires some key like image analysis that we have to like do it very accurately with image processing systems based on computer systems. So this is the power of like image analysis. Digital image processing will facilitate such fundamental process and helps you to extract more detailed accurate information. And also we should understand, because I'm not going in detail of all the process, because the experts are available line up to explain you different aspects of what I told you so far. So other mm, some general information we will discuss here. This digital image processing, already I told you, it is basically working with the rasters or raster image format, where the information will be stored as brightness value, or we call it as DN numbers, digital numbers. So as I told you, each band is composed of digital numbers with rows and columns, and each band detect information with the different spectral region. Okay, this is blue spectral region, this is green spectral region, red spectral region, and infrared spectral region. We have 4 bands, and each bands are composed of rows and columns, and the interaction of each rows and column, each row and column, you have DN number. Okay. So understanding this DN number is very important. Okay. And this number will be presented to us. Now I am presenting to you, maybe you are watching from computer or smart like a phone. This is phone give you the color, same color, because that read this DN value and apply suitable colors and display to you. Okay, so that's why we are like able to see the same color across all our devices. So this DN number play a major role in deciding the like information extraction. So understanding DN number is very, very important. Normally DN number will be stored in a data bit system. We call it as radiometric resolution. Traditionally we use 8-bit data system, which is ranging from like a 0 to 255, which means black to white. 255 means whiter, and 255 means black. And the brightness value, it's nothing but how much of energy available from the object, from each spectral band. Here it is the lowest 10, and here it is comparatively high. Okay, this is maybe, this is from blue region, so this is light blue, and this is what we call it as almost absence of blue or towards black. Okay, and this is towards like bright. So the value ranging from 0 to 255 like denote our energy value or brightness value of particular like a condition or particular location. So whatever you are look at the DN number, it's nothing but the energy obtained by the satellite sensor systems, that we should understand properly. and each like a band, the higher value source, that particular band energy is available plenty. Okay. And in each band the energy is not available or nearer to zero, then that kind of information, that kind of energy is not available, that you can able to understand it. And of course interaction of this dn number will give you the color information. Normally each band like represent with black and white grayscale you call it as, and whereas if you put all together you will get the color information. If you look at this multispectral image, this information is scanned with the green band, this information scanned with the red band, and this information scanned with the near infrared band. If you look at here, near infrared band reflect more, which means brighter in color, nearer to 255, and the near infrared like band like have absence of brightness value here, nearer to zero, which means no energy, no near infrared energy available here. Okay, so from this band if you want to like understand, and this is reflecting more vegetation, and this is reflecting like roof or like water body or some other thing. Okay, so this characterize, this near infrared band characterize what kind of object this is and what kind of object this is. This is from single band information. Sometimes you can put all bands together, because for the same area in red band if you look at, you have like less brightness value here and the higher value here, which means this is maybe a red tile, red rooftop. So that's why like a red color appears high here, maybe here and here and here. Okay, whereas it is like not available for near infrared energy. So the dn number like represents brightness value, brightness represents electromagnetic radiation, and as I told you, electromagnetic radiation represents your object behavior. Okay, so we are indirectly extracting the behavior of object with the help of dn numbers or digital numbers. If you look at this area, it is composed of these pixels, and this area is composed of these informations. And all these informations are stored with the value ranging from 0 to 255 in 8-bit data systems. So you have like information already presented this to you. Systematically, either using the methods of BIP, BIL or BSQ, and we have to process it. So simply this number we can able to understand the objects like properties. So here I am giving you an example. This is a river, a normal river. This is near infrared band in a like a thermal image, and where this brighter like reflects the higher like thermal properties. Okay, this is a thermal plume or thermal discharge of water from a plant that is released into a channel. From the channel it is discharged into the river systems. If you look at, this is cold water, this is hot water, okay, which means high temperature water, which is obtained during night time with the help of thermal infrared imagery. So with the help of this imagery, we can able to construct uh, what I say, the characteristics of the plume. Say for example, this is general temperature of the image, and this information is from this area. Okay, so that you can able to understand. Image processing system, you have a pixel value. This pixel value in 8-bit system, it is 195, which means nearer to 255. 255 is pure white. Okay, this is nearer to like a 255, so that's why this object is appearing white. Whereas this area, if you look at, which is very colder during night time, so it appears 0 in number, okay, or nearer to 0 in number. So like the entire area like it's made up of pixel, and each pixel represents the thermal or like electromagnetic radiation characteristics that you can able to understand it. Okay, so for example, here this area is arrayed and each pixel have values. Based on this pixel value only, we can able to construct the information. The same pixel information I told you can able to like construct visualization, and you can see where the thermal plume is high in which part of river, and within the river also where it is high. Say for example, here it is discharging, the discharging location where you have a very high temperature, and this cold water interacting and reducing temperature here. Okay, so here temperature is less, here temperature is high. So likewise, you can able to construct um, the thermal profile with the help of image processing. This is very simple image processing just for understanding based on digital number. So based on digital number, we are giving some threshold, and from this digital number to this digital number, the river temperature is this ambient temperature, and from this temperature to this temperature, it is this, and above like uh, 20 degree centigrades are represented with a digital like a number of this to this. Okay, so like you can able to like construct a profile, and you can able to see. Say for example, brightness value of this particular location, if you look at, it is around 180. Okay, whereas this area the brightness value is around 60 or 70. Okay, so based on brightness value or digital number, we can able to categorize or characterize the river profile. So I am just uh, stop it here, but of course you have learned people's later on. They will explain you about the steps I told you, the pre-processing, image enhancement, and image information extraction, or we call it as image classification. With this, I just stop it here. The one way of discussion or like a lecture, and now I open the floor to like interact with you and clarify your doubts or questions, if any.
Dear participants, kindly ask your question either orally or in chat box also. Sir, there is one question in chat box.
Sorry, my voice is not clear. Now it is clear. Okay, okay, okay. So, okay. So this BSQ format is arranged in a spatial array, and this DN number I said it has like also spatial location. First, your digital number should be arranged over a spatial domain, okay, just like a chessboard. Okay, the one corner of chessboard represent one end, then second like a chessboard box, third chessboard box, and etc. And the systems, the software will record not only digital number but also your geographical location. Okay, so this software or digital image processing system will record both the DN number and spatial location, so that it won't be any confusions. Okay. So even if there is a change in location, and your like a DN value also will change depend upon the location. Say for example, I am doing georeferencing, I am changing location of one pixel to another pixel, then you have to change DN number also. When you are changing the location of pixel, your DN number will also change. Sometimes you can change, sometimes without change also you can obtain, and sometimes you can average and you can obtain. There are a lot of techniques, of course, later like experts will explain you different techniques called nearest neighborhood or bilinear convolution or cubic convolution. Okay, there are different techniques where you can process your DN numbers depend upon the location. I hope I addressed your question, but still, if you are not able to understand, let me know. I will explain differently.
Other
Any other questions
participants,
meanwhile? Yeah.
please ask your questions because this subject is very much technical. And nowadays, what is happening? Most of the students are searching on internet, and they are only doing the practical component. But I observed that when they do the practical assignment, or you can say they create images, they classify the images, but at that time a conceptual background is missing, and that is our main motive, that you should get conceptual background along with practical sessions. Okay.
Yeah, rightly said by Patil sir. This understanding conceptual part is very important in
Yeah.
digital image
Yeah.
processing. That's why in first slide I mentioned digital image processing require both theory and practice. Okay, we
uh,
normally do practice much, but
yes,
we have to
understand
conceptually
the
understand the
yeah,
theory
fundamentals
aspect as well.
fundamentals behind. Otherwise it will be only gigo, that is garbage in and garbage out. Sir, is it possible to you to share some, if you have your recorded videos regarding creation of images using bands and other things? This is for the participants.
Sorry, sir, I'm not getting.
Uh,
You want
is
practical
it
demonstration?
possible to you to share the videos related to practical component of this lecture? That how to prepare an image using various bands, and what care should be taken at
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Okay. So
Yeah,
what I will
and
do, I will send you some tutorials
yeah,
with the data, and that may be helpful for the participants
yeah,
to
that I
explore.
can share with the participant, that
Yes, yes, yes.
participants
That I will
can
do. That I will.
practice at their end. And this is
Yes,
not possible to provide practical theory plus
yes, yes,
practical
yes. I
demonstrations
understand.
to all the lectures. But definitely when we share the tutorials and other things, that will helpful to the students.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. Dear students and dear faculty members, please ask your queries, because this is the time that we can contact with Dr. Balasubramani, because
Yes, sir. Good
he is
evening.
very much busy person. Yeah,
Yes,
David, please ask
yes,
your.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. I want to about the concept of mix pixel. If you kindly little bit enlighten us about
Mixed pixel.
mix pixel. Sometimes there is the actually I want to know if there is the 30-meter resolution of the pixel. If it is covered 25-meter of water body and rest of vegetation, then what it will be represent? It will represent
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you. And it is very fundamental to understand pure pixel and mixed pixel. Okay.
yes,
Thanks for the question. I just clarify. From remote sensing, sensor, whatever we are getting, it's not accurate. Okay, that we should understand first. Okay, and it is depend on the IFOV. Already I told. Say for example, I want to detect this object, and my sensor is this much, okay, this much of like aerial spatial coverage. Say for example, pin top, the top of this like a pen, only this much. I will get the pure like information from this location. Okay. Here I am getting pure information, pure information. The moment I come here, so I will get impure information. Partly this object and partly my hand. Okay. So this sensor and location of your object determines the pure pixel and impure pixels. Okay. And instead of uh, like uh, this sensor, this is finer sensor I would say, instead of this sensor, I have a sensor of this much. I have sensor of this much. So here I will get a pure information. The moment I move here, I will get impure information, partly this object and partly my hand. Okay. So if you have a finer spatial resolution, the amount of like impure pixels are less or limited. Whereas if you come to coarse resolution like this or like this and or like this, okay, you will get a lot of impure pixels. Okay, take the case of this one. This diameter is pixel size, IFOV. Okay, this is object. I am observing. Entire object will be covered in a single pixel, but not only object, surrounding area also will cover. Okay, whatever energy available in this object, the surrounding area will be reflected. Only the sensor will detect those reflectance. So partly you have information of this object, partly you have information of this object, and all will be directed by the sensor. Okay. Since you have a pixel information of this mixed pixel or mixed like object, then detecting or extracting precise information is very, very difficult. Actually, where the digital image processing play a role. Okay. How means, say for example, in normal visual image processing, it is not possible to detect it. I already shown you a image where the 40-meter pixel represents only some color. Okay, we don't know what kind of object it is. So our visual image processing won't work if you have a coarse resolution, and you have to depend heavily on digital image processing. But you should understand the physical properties of this object and physical properties of surrounding objects. Okay, I assume that this object reflects more energy. This object absorbs like energy. Okay, and I need to know the physical properties of both objects. Then only I can able to distinguish or detect this object. Okay, so for example, this pixel is of this information and this information. So both the physical properties you should understand it. Okay, so what you have to do, you have to subtract this information from this physical properties and you have to judge it. Okay, but ultimately we are not deciding this object based on single like a pixel. With the single pixel you will not get like much information, whereas our information is recorded with a spatial array. Okay, so you have rows and columns. So you have like information. That information is dictated or decided by some factors. Okay, so those factors are, you can able to measure it means, and you can able to measure this as well. Say for example, I take a tree. Okay, and this tree is like not a single tree. I have arrangement of like many trees. Say for example, forest. Okay. Individual species I want to identify it, but I know the entire forest. The entire forest physical properties I'm getting like here. Somewhere I'm getting pure pixel because the object size may be bigger, maybe like this like a cell phone size. Okay, so I am able to like detect this object purely. Okay, somewhere that is nearby that also, and this object also like nearby this. So I detect this object purely, this object impure. Okay, so this pure pixel you can use it to detect or to infer about impure pixels. Okay, this how the algorithm will work. The algorithm will check the spectral characteristics of this pure pixel and this impure pixels. If this impure pixel is close to this pure pixels, this object will be considered as this. If this object like is close to another pure object means this object will go to that. Okay, So we are classifying the information or pixels based on the pure pixels. Okay, so initially we have to train the systems with the pure pixels, and the algorithm will learn from pure pixels and characterize the spectral signature, and based on spectral signature, and it will measure the impure pixel. Okay, how? Say for example, this object I look at with green band, blue band, red band, near infrared band, thermal infrared band. Okay, I have another pure pixel that is also measured like that. Now you just forget about this impureness of spatial object. Now you have a spectral information. The same impure object is recorded blue band, green band, red band, infrared band. Same pure objects also recorded with like blue, green, red and infrared. Now this relation computer test this relation. Okay, so because spatially it is impure, but spectrally still it is pure, because each object is looked at different wavelength by different sensors. Okay, this how the power of like multispectral works, and we can able to extract the information although we have impure like object information, but with the help of like a spectral information we can able to overcome. I clear it, Tarun?
Okay, sir. Thank you. And another one thing, I have classified one image, but there is the built up and the bare land. These are the going to mix up. Built up also representing
Yes,
as built
yes,
up,
yes,
and bare land also coming in the built up.
yes,
So
yes, I understand. Because
yes.
the thermal properties or structural properties of both build-up and barren land are similar. Okay. Sometimes this river sand also reflect with built-up area, because sand is used to construct building. Okay. The thermal properties, physical properties of both urban area and some of the barren land or some of the soil is similar. Okay. It is hard to distinguish with the help of spectral information. Okay, I admit. You have a spectral information of two different areas. Both are like appearing similar in spectral information. But spatially, this is different, this is different. It has some linear component, or it has some other like land use association. It has some other like a factor to identify it. Okay. Whereas the build-up area have some pattern, shape, okay, or like a texture, so that you can use it. It's not just based on spatial information. It is not just based on spectral information, but also based on neighborhood information. Okay, how it is arranged. Whether in build-up area, if you look at um, mm, the barren land, almost entire area, you will find the same category or after classification. You find the same category for entire like barren land. But in build-up area, few pixels of similar to barren land, few pixels similar to forest, few pixels similar to river or dry river bed, few pixels similar to some other, and few pixels uniquely represent the built-up area. You have combination of pixels. Okay. So using these informations, nowadays we are using neural network or uh, like um, another deep learning networks, or like we call it as sophisticated algorithms to distinguish this heterogeneous area and the barren land and other type of dominant land use land cover, for which, and we have to employ, in addition to spectral based classification, we have to employ object based classification. So object based classification will consider both spectral information as well as neighborhood information. So using object-based information, we can able to overcome it. But whether we really overcome, no. Sometimes that also induce a new like issue or new like problems. So what we have to really do it, we have to like use a mixed approach, okay, or we call it as pragmatic approach, okay. So you can use supervised algorithm or unsupervised algorithm initially to categorize your like a broad land use type based on pixel spectral information. And secondly, you have to reclassify your classified image with the help of object-based approach using like there are algorithms. If not possible, you have to manually like intervene and identify area, and you have it into the class where the experience and your visual like system matters. That's how I said visual image processing and digital image processing are two eyes. Okay, this will give 50% of information. This will give another 50% of information. When you need 80%, 90% of information, then you have to combine together. No other go. Soran? Soran, I'm clear to you? No, he's available. He's muted. Okay, fine. Okay, so I get another command. Yes, yes. It's based on urban land use. So, yeah, the physical setting of urban land use, what you said, Harish Shankar Kumar, is heterogeneous, and you find difficulties in like LST. Okay. There is no like a ready-made solution for your problem because, as I said, each remote sensing problem is unique, okay, and each information extraction process is unique. Maybe some methodologies you may adapt and you will not get like a desired result. So what I suggest you, you have to like apply different like methods, and no method will give you 100% result. Keep in mind. Image processing will like facilitate your information extraction, scientific information extraction, and give you the maximum information, but not 100% information. 100% of information, if you want to extract it, then with remote sensing, it is not at all possible. You need in situ information or in situ based information also. So what you can do, you try a different combination of approaches. Say for example, I don't know about your problem. Your problem is for like studying the LST, land surface temperature, and you have to employ different data sets. Okay? So different data sets and for different time periods, and the like conducive image you have to consider. Okay, which one is you feel comfortable or which one is reflecting like more or less the ground conditions that you have to pick up it, and that requires a practice. Okay, so you ask also which software needed for further practical lectures. It depends. You can able to like offer the commercial software. You can go ahead some commercial software because commercial softwares will give you more tutorials and more like tools to understand the problems. No, I don't have such. Then you can also think it of open source softwares. But I suggest you can use any software before start with your problem. First take a sample data sets available with the software. Okay. and each software we used to give some like tutorials, SOPs, step-by-step methods, and etc. That you can try initially, and if your like a methodology, your software handling, then you can start your problem. Okay, and of course, don't use only single approach, rather using multiple approach, multiple data sets. Thank you, Arishan. I am at the moment I am helpless to your question. Okay, it is very practical question and requires almost a unique study to address your problem.
Thank you, Dr. Bala sir. It was a really interactive session, and till now I see more than 70 participants are there. Most of the participants have given choice to see the recorded sessions only, and we have also limitations because to the Google Meet it is not possible
Possible
to
to record.
address admit the participants more than 100. So we gave the choice to the participants, and till now more than 70% participants are active, and it speaks about quality of the lecture delivered by you. Thank you. Thank you very much for
Thank
your
you.
wonderful session. Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
sir. Thanks for
Thank
your
you.
invitation and
Thank you.
thanks to
Thank you.
all for
Thank you. Thank you.
patient listening.
Dear
And
participant, tomorrow's lecture will be delivered by Dr. David, and he is from Tamil Nadu, Chennai. Okay, I am request you kindly be in time, kindly join at 3:50 so that we can start our session sharp at 4 p.m. Thank you. Thank you.